Hi there, my name is Annie. I'm very excited to be with you today. Actually, this is the first episode of the English Shift. And in that episode, I just want to introduce myself. I just want to give you the purpose of that podcast, the English Shift. And I want to share my intention with you and my motivation with my heart. Honestly, in that podcast, I really want to be true with you, authentic, be myself, and share what I lived in my experience of learning languages and my general experience from work and traveling, etc. All right. So first, why did I choose the name The English Shift? All right, because to me, learning a language is more than learning vocabulary. It's more than learning the structure, the grammar. Okay. You can all have access to that on the web, in all the tools you have, the apps, the AI, whatever, name it. And I know that my customers sometimes are just sick of learning all the rules. They just want to talk. They just want to live their experience that they have to live, not only in English, but in their life. All right. People don't learn a language to focus on the language, but they learn it for a reason. This is what I want to share with you. All right. Why are you learning English? Why are you learning any other languages? All right. You are learning a language because you have an objective behind. You have a big why. All right. The reason why I wanted to learn English at first, because my first language is French. I introduced myself quickly. Um, I'm from Quebec. I'm from a small city in Quebec, the province of Quebec in Canada. I grew up in a very French city. All my family spoke French. My environment was very French. But there was always something like this little thing I wanted to know about English. There's something I wanted to reach. Being bilingual was an achievement for me. All right. But this was not my true motivation. Okay. Even though I was attracted to languages, what I wanted to do was to connect with people. What I was interested in was not to speak correctly, was not to spend hours in books learning the language, but I wanted to connect with the people. I wanted to share. I wanted to know about them. For me, English was the door that opened me to the whole world. I know it's typical to say that it's a stereotype, but to me it was more than traveling, if you know what I mean. You know, when you travel, when you are at a place and you want to talk with the locals, like my true intention was not only to order my meal or to book a reservation at a hotel. My real intention was to know these people, to know the locals. I wanted to know what they think, what they eat, what they do, everything. My real intention was that. Good. So when you want to learn a language, focus on your true motivation. What do you want really in the deepest inside of yourself? What do you want? Do you want to have a career? Do you want to improve your career? Do you want to have a better position? Do you want to connect with a family and love? Do you want to travel the world and connect with people like I wanted in the past? Good. So if I'm honest with you, like I know sometimes it could be frustrating that hearing people say that, oh, English is an easy language to learn. English is okay. There's no problem. You can watch TV, you can learn it. But the truth, if you really want to have a good conversation with somebody, it's not only by watching TV. You will go through a learning curve. Like this learning curve, you start at the bottom here, and sometimes you struggle to start the machine, depending on the people. Some people will need a longer warm up, and some people will go quicker. But it's normal. It's normal. You can respect your rhythm. But through that learning curve, you will go higher at some point. At some other points, you will reach a plateau, and sometimes you will have the impression of going low. Sometimes my students tell me that. They come to me and they say, like, today, Annie, I think my English is worse than it was at the beginning. And I tell them it's the process. Sometimes the brain, if you if you try so hard, your brain will be full, and at some point you will lose. You will lose your words. You will lose what you were learning. You will lose everything you knew. But don't worry, it always comes back and you go higher after that. All right, now I'm talking too much. I wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Annie from a small city in Quebec, Canada, as I told you. And right now I'm a language teacher. I'm also a neuro language coach. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a woman of 46 years old now. So here in this podcast, I just don't want to talk about only the process of learning a language, but I want to talk about everything, all my story, and everything I went through. Yes, to learn a language because I speak Spanish. I'm learning Portuguese also. Um, I want to I want to inspire you through my experiences, not only in languages, as I said, but also in my career, in my path, in my business, because I've had a business for 15 years. And I was, as a kid, as a teenager, I've always been like a simple girl. I had nothing like a rock star. I was shy. And when I see, when I look back and I see where I am today with a successful business, um, as a mom, in my life, in all the experiences I lived, I I want to help other people to live also the life of their dream, the life that they deserve. Because it's not because you are at the place you are right now that you cannot go higher eventually. And everything is a step. All right? Good. The first time I traveled without my parents was at 17. I went to Florida with some friends, from college friends, and we spent a week there, spring break, very typical for a French Canadian to spend the spring break in Florida at that time, anyways. And well, it was a period, but the real moment when I had the traveler's bug, it's when I went to Western Canada at 19 years old. When I finished the CEGEP, my college, I went there with my first car, very small car, with a friend. And, at that time, in my mind, I thought my English was good. In my mind, I said. English was something that I liked. I liked to do at school. It was a subject that interested me. And I had success. I had good marks in English. I listened to a lot of English music, English bands, and I kind of understood quite well. All right. When I went to Western Canada, I will tell you my motivation and my perception of my English dropped completely. I was able to talk, but I was able to only express the general ideas. I became so frustrated that I couldn't express myself deeper, and I could not maintain a long conversation with somebody. And the reason why I went there is because I wanted to have an experience. I wanted to work for 2 months for the summer season in Western Canada. And I wanted to work with the public, to talk with people, but I ended up having a housekeeper job in a hotel. I was cleaning in a hotel, and at that time, for me, I felt very, very low. You know what I mean? When I was there, my confidence dropped completely. My confidence in my English, I mean. Okay, I still knew I had potential in life, but seeing myself cleaning hotel rooms day after day and not able to get the job I wanted to do. I wanted to be a waitress, I wanted to talk to people, but because my English level was not as good, um, for me it was like I had the true, how can I say that? I lived, the reality of a young woman who arrives in another province. Even if I was still in my country, I felt like I was in a totally different environment because everybody spoke English over there. Now I was just a French Canadian who could express herself like the way she could. Hmm. And I felt at that time that I was not myself. I felt that I had more potential than that, as I said before. But not only that, I felt small. I don't know if you've ever felt that before, but you know, when you cannot be yourself and express everything you want to say, and you feel like I felt like I was 5 years old. I was only 19, but still I didn't want to feel like a baby, right? Oh, finally, I lived my experience over there, and after 2 months, I'd say that I improved a bit my English. But if you're not from Canada, you know that French Canadian who go find a job in the summer in the Western Canada, they always end up with other French Canadians and they speak French and this is what I lived. I was a housekeeper with other French Canadians because this is the job we could get over there. All right, but anyways, this is part of my story. But If you feel like that right now, I really understand you. I feel you so much because I've lived it before. But after that, I had other experience. I went to France, I went to New Zealand, I went to Spain, to Scotland, England, whatever. I started to travel a lot the world, and today my intention with English and languages in general, it's still to connect with people. It brings me to meet a lot of interesting people, to hear a lot of interesting stories, but my real motivation is to help. It's to help you guys speak. I don't need to speak, but to feel good when you speak English. You know, you deserve to live the life you want to live. You deserve to say what you have to say. You deserve to be to be present, to be there with people and not saying yes, yes, or I don't understand. Can you repeat, please? Sorry, my English is not so good, but I try. You deserve to have the business you want to have. You deserve to have the career you want to have. So in my next episodes, I'm gonna start sharing slowly, like each step of my learning process. And for now, what I want you to think of, you can write it in the comments if you want, and I will answer with pleasure. But you can write in the comments what is your true motivation in English? What is it? What is it that you really want to reach? Good. Thank you for your time and I hope to see you soon. Bye.